Welcome back to the V Movement, episode 25. Before we get into our interview with Misty JD, founder of the Mother's Village and Modern Day Wild Woman, I wanted to remind you of our upcoming Menopause Masterclass series with a focus on fitness and wellness. We are putting on the finishing touches on our course and getting ready to launch within the next month. We are looking for our first cohort of women who are ready to take this next chapter of life and make it the best years possible. Whether you are in your 20s, and not even aware or even thinking about menopause, or you are in your postmenopause years, this course is for you. The more we can learn and educate ourselves about this stage of life, the better we feel. We are passionate about women's health and spreading the word about this important subject that really needs to be common knowledge and shared with everyone. So tell your friends, neighbors, family, and anyone that is willing to listen and learn. The link will be in the show notes so you can get updates on when this course is happening. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get on to the show. Welcome to the V Movement, the podcast that's all about pelvic health and getting the V's in your life moving. We are your hosts, Allison Craig, physical therapist specializing in pelvic health,
and Sarah Landis, physical therapist and board-certified women's health specialist. In each episode, we delve into the world of pelvic health, exploring everything from the vulva and vagina to the vagus nerve.
Whether you're looking to enhance your understanding of pelvic health, seeking advice on common concerns, or simply want to join a community that embraces these important discussions, the V Movement is the place to be.
So tune in and let's embark on this journey together towards better pelvic health. Because when it comes to the V's in our lives, movement is key.
Welcome to the V Movement podcast. I am Allison Craig, your host, and today we are interviewing Misty JD, who is a local businesswoman. She is the founder of A Mother's Village and also the business owner of Modern Day Wild Women, and she does so many more things for women in the community here in Humboldt County. And I have had the privilege of being able to participate in some of the Friday night community circles and also part of your program, and just really appreciate all that you're doing for women in our community, and especially being able to not just be online, but really in person, because that community is so big. So I just wanted to share all of your amazingness with the people who are listening to our podcast and get the word out of all that you do. So I'll just open the floor to you, Misty, and give us a little background and how you came to found the Mother's Village.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me here with you today. I'm so excited to share all that we're doing here in Humboldt County, Northern California through A Mother's Village. Yeah, A Mother's Village is a local nonprofit, and we've been serving the community. We're going on 4 years now, which sounds really crazy. But it's been really exciting for the community, and I've seen some really drastic changes to the culture here. Part of our mission is just cultivating village culture in these modern day times. I really believe that village culture is the missing element in the modern day pace, and we're here to bring that back and really just bring in a sustainable village space and support system that should naturally exist by nature, but bringing that in intentionally to ensure that our community is thriving, supported, and has the resources they need, especially as mothers. And I think you asked how the foundation came to be. A lot of people don't know this, but when I started A Mother's Village, it was during COVID. COVID had just hit, and I was serving as a birth doula and childbirth educator here in the community. And I was seeing firsthand how devastating the isolation was to the families. And as a mother of 2 children on my own, I know how dangerous it is actually to be isolated with young babies, especially first-time mothers. I mean, even mothers of multiples, it's just not a great idea to have a baby and then go home and don't see anyone. So I felt a very strong call, and I knew that I needed to create a safe space for mothers to come together, despite what anyone else thought it was kind of an underground operation at the time, because I figured, hey, there's high risk with COVID and everything going on. We'll be as safe as we can. We'll do them outdoors. We'll put masks on. We'll space out, whatever we have to do. But you can come here and be safe and bring your baby. And I'm going to serve you a meal. I will hold your baby and I will help you, because every mother needs that. And the the fact is, modern day times are really creating a space where no one has that. Or you're very lucky if you do have a grandmother or a neighbor in town who you can go hand your baby when you're feeling distressed or lost or just need a effing shower. So, it was out of a dire need for the community that this started. And COVID did eventually, balance out, and life is semi-normal now, I think. But it just, after COVID stopped, I was then allowed to really begin really marketing and voicing what we're doing to the community in a larger way without being afraid that people were going to try and shut me down or criticize the work I was doing. However, I know the families that we served during COVID were so, so grateful. And they continue to be a village. Really, they now are natural support systems for one another. And that's the vision. So now that we're out of COVID, almost 4 years later, the village is thriving and we get to serve hundreds of mothers every month, children. And if you think about it, when you serve the mothers and the youth of the community, you're really serving the whole family. And when you're serving the families, you're serving the community. And it just bleeds out in a ripple effect to really bring wellness, balance, and the natural support that we all should have to thrive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just talking about village culture, we are so not a village anymore in our modern day society. Like everyone moves away from family. And so, yeah, that support system is very different. And especially here in Humboldt County, there is a big kind of transient culture where people are constantly moving. And so, having a community or a place to go where there's going to be some community, and whether people are leaving or going, to know that there's that space that people can come together. And especially for new moms, I mean, I know I see that. I work at the hospital, and that's just such a huge thing for health in general, is the support system, the mental health aspect. Mental health is so big on how it affects our entire system, and we've talked about that a little bit on the podcast, about like our vagus nerve and how our vagus nerve calming down that parasympathetic nervous system. And when you don't have the support system or the people around you to help, like you said, take your baby to be able to take a shower, take your baby to, just like when you're really stressed, just to be able to decompress, because yeah, your whole life is changed. And somebody who doesn't have a kid, I can still, I see it in my patients in the community and my friends who have kids. So it's really, like you said, a village. It takes a village to raise a kid. And
Yeah.
yeah, and there's the whole like grandmother effect, when people have a grandma or somebody who's there helping take care of the children, how much your lifespan extends. So that's just amazing that you took that step to do that, because it's a lot of work.
When it first started, it was all just me volunteering my time to do this because it was a dire need for the community. So I would show up and set up and pay rent at the yoga studio so we could host these. And I would cook a big pot of soup or kitchery or something. And I would bring dishes. And it was like this huge hustle of this little woman behind the scenes that no one really thought about. But I was so fulfilled to do it because I was really making a huge impact on the lives of so many families at once, that it was just like, that was the reward. And it continues to be for me. We now have a great team of about 7 women on the Mothers Village team who are trained doulas, childbirth educators. We've got herbalists. We've got so many wellness facilitators on the team that bring in a different lens and a different way of supporting mothers. I think one thing I learned out of doing this is that there's not enough of this going on. Like, and so it does feel like a lot of weight sometimes, where I'm like, how do I help more? But in the same breath, I see how it is a ripple effect, and us just showing up sustainably is something that has continued to be impactful and that provides a sense of safety for the community far beyond just the central area of Eureka. We have mothers driving in from Benbow and like different areas 3 hours deep to come to a village. And that just says a lot. Like you
Wow.
said, Humboldt County can be an isolated place. There's a lot of people coming and going, which means no one has the support system they need, or at least not many.
Yeah, yeah. You guys have gone above and beyond too, with Mad River Hospital closing their birthing center, which is a huge hit to our community. I mean, Redwood Memorial Hospital lost their birthing center a couple of years ago, and now Mad River. So now it's only St. Joe's. Yeah. Our healthcare is a little challenged up here. So it's really cool to see like how much you guys are even taking another step up to really serve this community, because doulas do so much. I mean, I didn't realize the extent of what a doula does, because again, I haven't had kids, and that was a new word for me. I did have a friend who started being a doula, but I still was like, I don't really know what a
Yeah.
doula is. So I don't know if that's something that you could kind of speak to a little bit too, for anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah, that's where my path started, was becoming a doula, and that happened out of the love of birth. I found from birthing my first child, I kind of went into birth just knowing that I wanted a natural birth, just intuitively, no like ego reason, just like that's what my body was like, we're going to birth this baby.
Mm.
And the only things I had ever heard about birth was that it was terrifying and really hard and painful. My mother told me how much she hated giving birth. And that's all I got. And I went into childbirth and I took some childbirth education classes, and I had some local yoga teachers and things who gave me some tips and whatnot. But what I found through giving birth the first time was that I really love giving birth. And I didn't know that was an option. Like all I heard was horrible, but I really loved giving birth. I wanted to do it 100 times. It was so fucking incredible.
That is very unique. It's not
Yeah, it was so fucking incredible and magical. And like I had totally rebirthed myself and just got the unique experience of pulling my daughter out of between my legs. And she was birthed sunny side up, which means she was facing me and her eyes were wide open, just peaceful. And it was the trippiest moment of my whole existence. I mean, what do you say? It's just like I blew the lid off of what life is. And any high I had ever been chasing was like, that's it. Life's complete. I don't know. And it was so amazing that I immediately wanted another baby. I was like, whoa, we got to re enter this realm. This is nuts. And then I realized shortly after that, okay, I love birth so much, but I'm not going to birth 1,000 babies. I don't actually want to raise 1,000 babies. But what I wanted to do more than that was to really empower other mothers to find the possibility that birth is beautiful, or that birth is possible, even that birth can be enjoyable, empowering. It can be, even if it's hard, it doesn't need to be painless to be beautiful, but that there was this avenue that had opened up to me that I could lead other mothers into, like, whoa, no one ever told me that was a possibility. What if I help people cultivate that knowing before they go into it, to enhance their chance of having an empowering birth and sharing that moment with their children and their family in an impactful way? So a doula basically was my calling. I was like, that's how I can do it. I can't personally birth 1,000 babies, but I can help people birth thousands of babies. So a birth doula is really a support person, and we're talking physical support, spiritual support, mental support. We're really here to get to know you during your pregnancy, building trust so that you can ask all of the scary and unique questions that you have that you're not comfortable asking everyone else, and that doctors don't have the time to answer. So we're here to really get deep with you. We're here to share. I know for me, I also got certified in childbirth education because it goes hand in hand. Like if you've got questions, I want to be able to answer them. So choosing a doula who is well-rounded in her knowing is really important, I think, so that you can make sure you get all the questions nilched. You can find that inner peace. And then doulas are also here during your birth. So you call them when you start contractions or when you feel ready to have their support. They come to you and stay with you in your home as long as you're laboring there. And if you are transferring to a hospital, they go with you and stay with you the entire birth, and they're hands-on. They're guiding you through either verbal guidance, they're massaging you, aromatherapy. Every doula operates differently and has a different magic in the way she shows up and holds a sacred space for you. But it's really just having that extra woman in the room who is holding the container in the way that you want it to be. I never have an agenda as a birth doula when I go into a room besides supporting a mother exactly how she wants to be supported. So I've even been hired as a birth doula for C-sections, and I get to support in that aspect. Any way that you want to have birth, have it be empowering, have it be supported, and have yourself nourished.
That's huge. Yeah. And doulas are really, like you said, supporting the mom. And because
Yeah.
there is so much focus on the baby, obviously that needs to be there. But oftentimes the mom gets missed in
In the shuffle of
birthing
bringing the
process.
baby. Yeah. And then doulas even follow up. Most doulas, I think all doulas that I know, we go in and we meet with you postpartum to make sure everything's going well. So it's a really powerful way. And like you said, doulas are here to serve the mother. And I carry that into the vision of a Mother's Village nonprofit, is that we're here to serve the mothers. We're also here to serve the youth, but it's part of serving the mother. In order to serve the mother fully, we have to provide childcare and really nourish their children. If your child is not being cared for, loved, or nourished by a trusted person, you can't be helped. Your mind is not even available. You're worried about your child. So by caring for the youth and having impact in their lives, we also get to ensure that we're fully tending to the mother, that the mothers can come in, they come into our space, they can bring their child into the children's village, and their children get snacks and full nourishment and creative play. And then the mothers go into the next room, grab a bowl of soup, some bread, some tea, and they sit down in a sacred circle of just mothers. And imagine what that's like. It's like putting down half of your identity for a second and breathing for the first time ever. You're just like,
Having that trust and knowing that your child is being cared for. There's so many places that don't have childcare anymore, or it's really expensive to have that. Even at the local gyms, they got rid of the childcare when COVID happened, and now they don't have it anymore. And so even just being able to go work out or anything, or have friends and not just have to have play dates where you're constantly watching the kids, to be able to have that time to really put some of that self and know that it's trusted at the childcare, and then being able to be in that space, like you said, take that big breath. So that is amazing.
they're right next door. So I find that even mothers who have never left their children feel so safe because it's in the same building. They're right next door. You could peek in as many times as you need to. But what they find is that the children are thriving as well. We've cultivated the space to truly be aimed for children in that room. And our trained facilitators and leaders and childcare providers are just epic. And so everyone's held so fully that the worry just kind of melts away. And I find these mothers coming back time and time again, really just diving into all that we have. And then, like I said earlier, we're really seeing people in village culture now. Like it's not dependent. We're not here to just have people keep coming back to us only. We're here to keep seeing them now networking and supporting one another outside of the circle in real life, calling each other, babysitting for each other, just coming over to sit on the couch. And I think, like you said, there's so many play groups and baby showers and things aimed at the kids, but to reverse that a little bit and just say, hey, this is for you, mom.
Yeah, that's really big. And the space that you have is very homey. Feels like you're walking into home environment. There's a beautiful kitchen, and the space that you can hang out in feels like you're in a living room that's really peaceful, and just a really cool space. Very inviting. What is the schedule that you guys have?
Right now, we're offering every first and third Wednesday of the month. We're hosting the Mother's Village support circles with childcare, and that's from 10 a.m. to noon every first and third Wednesday of every month. And then we also host the first Friday circle evening. That's open to all women, and those are really powerful as well. Those are from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and those are always full.
Yeah.
So RSVP if you guys are planning to come. But it is, I mean, you can also drop in if you forget to RSVP. We never turn someone away. We're always so excited for each of those offerings. And once in a while, we'll host we did a farm to table fall shindig dinner last year as a fundraiser and a way to support the family. Usually a couple times a year, free community gatherings, beach bonfires, things to just get people together and bring in the fathers as well. We posted a daddy-daughter dance at the office space. And like you said, we curate the space and pour so much love and intention into the environment because we really want it to feel like you're coming and sitting on a friend's couch. Like when you come there, this is a communal living room. It's your living room just as much as it's mine.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I've been to the Friday nights, and so many people. That room is packed, and it's such a really cool space. And I love the way you guys orchestrate it and give time for each person to say hello and how they're doing. I just really appreciate it, feeling that community, and seeing people that I wouldn't necessarily see or meet in my day-to-day experience.
A lot of people are making just lasting friendships at these circles, and it's so cool to watch.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Another element that we really aim to bring in through the Mother's Village is the culture and arts element in the way that we lead and train facilitators. If we're returning back to village culture, what held village together was the culture. And what is culture? I'm a Native American woman myself, and I bring in as many elements that I can pull through from my culture and different things that I've been trained in to really bring that in. And some of that looks like song, drumming, singing together. We bring in art processing and many different ritualistic elements to bring in a depth to the container. So it's something that penetrates us beyond the logic, but in our souls, we find that nourishment that we're truly seeking.
That was a really powerful. I came to the circle that you had where you were telling a story, and just the way you told the story with the drum, and how something that we don't get in our regular conversations with people, and how you set up the environment and the voice, the song, just singing with other people. It's so funny. We don't sing in our everyday life unless we're in the car and we're hiding from each other and we're like, okay, I'll sing. But to be able to sing with women, and even not knowing the song, but then like starting, because the lyrics, repeat. And so it was really cool to be like, okay, I'm gonna sing with everybody and try and drop that, like you said, drop the ego, drop
The logic.
the logic. Yeah, exactly. It was really, really cool, and just such an amazing practice that I need to do more of, and to be supported with other women and know that, like, oh, I'm not going to be judged.
Yeah, and one thing I've heard from so many mothers over the years is that they just find themselves like finding more comfort and confidence in themselves that they've ever been able to find, because the environment is truly just an open, sacred space. And there's a lot that goes into making sure that is what the space is and the way that we facilitate. But it's just so cool to hear that time and time again. That's just like, wow, I've never felt so like nervous at first, but then many women are able to drop that and come in to just like flow, like, oh, I didn't know what I was going to say, but I said what needed to come out, and this is just like the sacredness of it all, is having enough support that your body and your voice naturally moves in the ways it needs to find that rebalance, that healing, that support.
It's amazing all the emotions that come up. I mean, even just talking about it right now, I'm like, oh, I'm crying for some reason. Just feeling, just remembering that sensation that I had. So yeah, like you said, just whatever comes out, just noticing, like, oh, really being able to be true to yourself, and like open, and to be witnessed by other people, is something that doesn't happen. To be able to have that time and that sacred space to be able to be like, hey, this is my story, and people are listening and not interrupting. I mean, that's so big. We're so quick to be like, oh, I want to share. I want to share. So to be able to have that time and space to be like, oh, I'm being witnessed, I am being seen, and which is such a really cool experience too, for moms, and I think for all of us women in general too. So yeah, I really appreciate all that you are doing, and that you've been so committed, like you said, sharing your free time, especially in the beginning,
Yeah.
and putting so much effort into it. I think that's really a huge thing to recognize, because it's not easy to spend your free time creating that environment and just trusting the process. So really appreciate what you're doing for the women in this community.
Yeah, thank you so much, Allison. It's great to be recognized for that. And I, over the years, have connected with different leaders in the community who are doing different things to support the village. And I'm just so grateful that there's other people out there, even just like yourself, spreading education and more awareness about how we can tend to ourselves as women. It's so powerful. And you let me know that I'm not out here alone with a passion project. We're actually here as village healers, leaders, and just serving in the ways we can to help sustain this community. And I'm not doing it alone.
That's so amazing. Yeah, you got 7 people who are also helping you now, just because you started this grassroots project. And so it's really cool to see how everyone's been able to come together. You guys are putting together a resource list, or maybe you guys already have it at this point.
Yeah.
That's huge, because it's hard to know like what's out there, unless you have to really like research and reach out. So to be able to have a space that people already trust, and then a space that you can be like, hey, here are these other resources. Because I mean, me as a medical provider, I'm like, well, I know the medical side of it, and the other resources that are out there, it's really hard to know. I'm super glad that I found you, and I've been able to share with my patients like, hey, there's this amazing resource too that's non-medical. You guys have
Yeah.
the education piece, which is amazing. You guys do kind of combination of understanding the whole body, the whole health.
And we're consistently stepping into more depth of our knowing so we can keep growing with the village. This year, we were focusing on trauma-informed leadership. So our whole team was attending trauma-informed training courses, and we're just always deepening our way of holding the container so that we can serve at our best. But one thing that I'll say is really unique, I think, about our group is that it's open to all mothers. So that can be a mother who's pregnant, a mother who's got a baby, or a mother who is a grandmother now. And it provides this really awesome intergenerational depth to the container where we will have a mother who's not even pregnant but interested in the circle, and we will have a grandmother in the circle, and a lot of mothers get nervous about coming if their kid's 13 years old. They're like, am I still a mom? And I'm like, hell yes, you're still a mom. My kids are 8 and 10 years old now, and I'm still there every day. And I have mothers whose kids are teenagers and are still there every circle because we don't stop being mothers. And then in addition to that, aunties are allowed too. So if you've got a sister or a friend who just wants to be in support of the village or support and witnessing you, she's allowed to come too. And it creates this really rich and supportive community.
Thank you for saying that, because a lot of people who don't have kids and the rest are like, oh well, that wouldn't be for me. And that's huge, because I think people who don't have kids like me, kind of feel like, oh, well, I'm on that other spectrum of like, I can only be a part of community of other people who don't have kids because I can't share that same experience. But yeah, I have friends and I have patients, and just knowing that I do support
Yeah.
and I also appreciate that support. And so that's really cool that you guys offer it to anybody who really wants to come and have that support. So people who are aunties, or like you said, people who want to have kids, maybe haven't been able to have kids for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So that's really, really cool to hear.
Yeah, and I always reassure the maidens when they feel uncomfortable to come. I'm like, you have more hands than we have, and we need your hands. So we actually need your support energetically, physically, and emotionally, because you also remind us of a version of ourselves we once were. And it reawakens us as a woman, like, who are we still? As maidens show up in the room, we're constantly reminded of who we still are inside. And it's a beautiful way that it enhances the village. So yeah, come on in anytime.
Perfect. Well, I'm gonna have to take a Wednesday off of work to be able to come. So I definitely am wanting to do that.
Yeah.
So I will be sharing all the things in the show notes as far as the days and times that you guys have. I'll share your website. Where else would people be able to find you if they do have any questions or want to learn more about what you guys have to offer?
Yeah, you're welcome to list the website, email, phone number for people to call. And then also just our Instagram has a really rich place to find out each week's topic and really keep in the know of all that we're doing. We're really evolving right now. So there's a lot of exciting things to come. And joining our email list, you can do that on our website or drop us a message through Instagram. And joining our email list, you'll get an invitation to every event we host. So you can get in when it works for you. The last thing I want to share is that our larger vision moving forward is that we can establish a Mother's Village groups in many areas. It's been so impactful in Humboldt County, but what if every community had a Mother's Village? And we've been exploring this. And now that we're a nonprofit, we can really dive into how that could work. And we're creating structures that we can teach others and really pass this on. This isn't about me. This isn't about just our community, but it's about society as a whole. How can we bring back village culture to really shift the way that people are thriving in their communities? So we're talking with someone in Berlin, Germany, which will be our next chapter. Really cool. If anyone's listening and interested and feeling like I'm so passionate about serving mothers and families and I just don't know where to start, reach out to us. We have a fully developed program that we're willing to share with people and train people on so that this can be more than just in our community, that we can spread this impact as far as it'll go, because everyone needs village culture to thrive. And then lastly, what we're working on here in Humboldt County is raising more funds and putting those funds towards low cost or no cost one-to-one sessions and support from doulas, birth workers, childbirth educators, lactation consultants, pelvic specialists, because there's so many mothers who are deserving of that care, but we can't keep affording all these different services. Really, we're in the works of securing more funding so we can begin offering one-to-one care at low or no cost for families. So we're really excited. We feel like we're on fire over here with just the amount of passion that our team holds. I'm so grateful to all of the facilitators and childcare providers at a Mother's Village. It would not happen without them. And we all share the same burning passion to just show up in this honorable work for the community.
Wow, that's amazing. And you need the funds to be able to support this. Like you said, it's a lot of time and dedication, and to be able to provide that is amazing. That's really cool to hear all the exciting stuff you guys have going on. I can see you guys expanding and having a Mother's Village in all over the States, in Germany. That's amazing.
We never thought that would be our next branch, but it was actually a woman who attended our circles while she was traveling, and she was just so moved that she was like, this is what I've been searching to do. Can you train me? So we're
Wow.
now in training, and it's really fulfilling to be able to pass that on.
Oh my goodness. Well, I have signed up for the newsletter. Definitely highly recommend everybody sign up for the newsletter so you can stay in the loop, because there's so many really cool things that you guys are doing. Again, we'll link all of that in the show notes. And I really appreciate you coming on, Misty. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Allison. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. The information shared in this podcast by Sarah, Allison, and our guest interviews are intended for educational, entertainment, and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. While we are licensed physical therapists, we are not your personal physical therapists, and no patient-provider relationship is formed. If you have any health concerns or questions, please consult your medical provider. The information on this podcast or any of our other platforms is to use at your own risk.